One afternoon, a certain gentleman went to check into a hotel. Normally, he came to the reception desk and got the room keys and went there to unpack his things. But when he got to his room, there was a room right next to it that was sealed off with police tape, and he was not allowed to enter it. But he couldn't, and had to look through the peephole in the door. He only saw a white figure there. Actually, everything in that room was white. The figure was sitting and didn't even move. He watched for about 3 minutes, and it was still just sitting there. When he didn't like it anymore, he went to check in. Then he went down to the reception desk and asked what kind of room it was. The receptionist told him that there was a murdered woman there, and her ghost has been there ever since. So the gentleman went outside to somehow recover from that. Then he came back to the hotel. He had already unlocked the door to the room, but his curiosity seized him again, and he had to look into the room again with the peephole. But now there was no figure at all. He only saw red. Then he looked again for about 3 minutes and saw only red. So he then went to the reception and asked her if she knew anything else about that room. So the receptionist says, "Well, I know that everything in that room is white. The only thing that has the character's red eyes are a different color." One evening I was alone in our house. Mom at the cinema with Dad. I don't know why, but I love horror movies and I like to be scared. Well, it was just the evening and I was watching the horror movie Mom. About halfway through the horror movie, I heard someone ringing the bell. I was scared, but I looked out the window and there was no one there. I even shined a flashlight there. I preferred to go to sleep, but then I was woken up by a strange knocking on the wardrobe. I was very scared, but I fell asleep due to fatigue. I woke up at about 7 in the morning and went to have breakfast. I almost fainted from fear. There was torn wallpaper, but all the way to the ceiling. I still can't forget it. The children went on a trip to the forest. It was night and the children were sleeping in tents when Andrea, Annetta, Bara, and Teresa heard something outside. They were afraid, so they went to investigate. Annetta saw a person. All four shouted at him, "Hello, sir." When they saw him, they were frightened and asked him, "Sir, what happened to you? Who did this to you?" He said, "I was hungry." The girls immediately ran away to the tent. Well, at least they tried, but the master or the mortal caught up with them and asked if they had anything to do with each other. They said, "No, we don't." The mortal replied, "Then I'll marry you." When the teacher didn't see them anywhere in the morning, she went out to look for them with the whole class 5B. When she suddenly saw a mortal eating them, she immediately yelled at the class, "Go away, hurry up." And since then, no one has even peeked into this forest of horrors. It happened when we moved in with my mom's new husband. He lived somewhere in Poland, but he was born in Prague and grew up there too. He moved to Poland for work. He met my mom in high school. He had a beautiful house and a huge plot of land, so I didn't object. And Radek was also nice, but he didn't look like a father. The first night during the summer holidays went fantastically, but when my mother and uncle left and I stayed alone on that huge plot of land, strange things started to happen, such as someone whispering, stomping things, etc. When our family came back, they thought I had made the mess me, and the worst thing was that they don't believe me. So I said let them install cameras all over the house and on the land, and they nodded, saying that they would have peace. Once they installed them and went to work, and I went on roller skates, and suddenly the floor started to vibrate in our house. Then it stopped suddenly. Strange voices and very loud stomping started to be heard, and suddenly wine glasses started flying. I came home only after hours and they started looking around. So I said that I was going for a swim and to go skating. They both looked at each other. Then suddenly, the line remembered the cameras. When they looked at it, they couldn't believe their eyes. At night it was even worse. The whispering started again, pulling down blankets, etc. The worst thing was that he started screaming in the attic, so we went to look there. But there was no one there, only a shadow. When he saw us, he disappeared. We thought it was a dream and went to sleep. The next day, the line says, "Hey, it seems to me, or is there a dog with a rabbit's head in our garden?" My mom and I started laughing, but then it ran towards Radkovi. He swerved, but nothing hit the wall or something. Suddenly it disappeared. And we all saw similar animals, and suddenly someone started pulling Mom's hair. But it wasn't me or the line. It started to tickle me, and Radek got seriously ill. The doctors didn't know what was wrong with him. My mom and I were starting to think it was haunted, so we called a priest and had the house consecrated. It was quiet for a few days, but we received holy water from the priest. So we sprinkled the house with holy water. And it was calm. Radek miraculously recovered, but sometimes a woman's voice wails in the fireplace saying, "Why did you do this to me?" But it's really rarely quiet now. It was recently that I was walking home from school with a friend, and we were talking about different horror movies, and my friend mentioned the horror movie 3:15 You Die. I told her I didn't want to hear about it, and so we moved on. That night I slept with another friend, and I couldn't sleep because I kept thinking about the horror movie 3:15 You Will Die. I finally fell asleep, but then I woke up and went to the bathroom and suddenly threw up. I washed and wiped my mouth and looked at the time. It was 3:19, so I had to throw up at 3:15. About 2 hours later, I woke up again, but I didn't have time to go to the toilet and threw up on their floor. My friend's mom wiped it off, and I went to sleep in another room to be sure I wouldn't vomit on my friend. And the clock there was stopped at 3:15.